I found my fiancée in bed with my best friend on a Friday night. I lost my six-figure job the following Monday, and the perfect apartment I'd finally found, the one that was supposed to be my fresh start, fell through the day before I was supposed to move in. By any reasonable measure, my life was collapsing. I was 35 years old, single, unemployed, and about to move into the worst apartment I'd ever seen. If you'd told me then that within a year I'd be happier than I'd ever been in my life, I would have bitterly laughed in your face. Before we dive in, have you ever had something terrible happen that turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to you? A job loss that led to something better? A breakup that saved you from the wrong person? Share your story in the comments below. And if you love stories about second chances, finding purpose, and how life's detours sometimes lead exactly where you're supposed to be, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next one. I left work early on that Friday. That was rare for me. Maxwell Brooks, senior financial analyst at Cordova Finances, didn't leave early. I stayed late. I worked weekends. I made myself indispensable. But it was Vanessa's birthday, and I wanted to surprise her with dinner from her favorite Italian place. I'd texted her an hour ago saying I'd be late. Another client meeting, the usual excuse. But instead I'd left at 6, picked up linguine alle vongole and tiramisu, and headed home to our Upper West Side apartment. Our apartment. That's what I still called it, even though her name was the only one on the lease. We'd been together 4 years, engaged for 8 months. The wedding was in 3 months. Christmas Eve. She'd wanted a winter wedding. I'd wanted whatever made her happy. I took the elevator to the 3rd floor, balancing the takeout bag in one hand, keys in the other. Stopped at our door and saw shoes, men's shoes, brown leather Oxfords, size 11. I knew those shoes. Trevor Walsh, my best friend since college. The guy who'd been my best man at the wedding we were planning. The guy who came over for Sunday football. The guy who'd helped me pick out Vanessa's engagement ring. My hand froze on the doorknob. I could have left, walked away, processed it somewhere else. But I opened the door. Maybe it was not what I was thinking. The apartment was dim. Music playing softly from the bedroom. Vanessa's laugh, that laugh I loved, coming from behind the closed bedroom door. I set the takeout bag on the kitchen counter, walked down the hallway. Each step felt surreal, like watching myself in a movie. I opened the bedroom door. Vanessa and Trevor were in bed. Tangled sheets, her head on his chest, both of them frozen when they saw me. Nobody spoke for what felt like an hour, but was probably 5 seconds. Then Vanessa sat up, pulling the sheet around herself. "Max, oh my God, Max, How long?" My voice came out calm. Flat, like I was asking about the weather. Trevor sat up, had the audacity to look guilty. "Bro, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean for this to—" "How long, Vanessa?" She looked down. 6 months. 6 months. Almost half of our engagement. I turned around, walked back to the kitchen, picked up my keys. "Max, wait. Please, let's talk about this." I didn't turn around. "I'll come back tomorrow for my things. Don't be here." "Max." I left. Closed the door behind me. Walked down 3 flights of stairs. Couldn't wait for the elevator. Out onto the street. Stood on the sidewalk in the October cold. And realized I had nowhere to go. I spent Friday night at the Marriott Courtyard in Midtown. Booked it on my phone while sitting on a bench in Riverside Park, watching the Hudson River and trying to process what I'd just seen. Saturday morning, I woke up in a sterile hotel room and made calls. First, wedding venue. Canceled, lost the deposit, $8,000 down the drain. Second, photographer, caterer, florist, all canceled. Third, my mother. That conversation lasted 45 minutes. She cried. I cried. Fourth, Vanessa. Told her I'd come Monday evening to get my things. She didn't argue. Then I sat on the hotel bed and stared at the wall. Trevor had been my best friend for 13 years. Vanessa, my partner for 4. And I'd had no idea. How do you miss something like that? My phone buzzed. Text from Trevor, Trevor, man, I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you, it just happened. We didn't plan it. I stared at the message, thought about responding, then blocked his number instead. Some things don't deserve a response. On Monday, I walked into Cordova & Partners at 8:45 a.m., showered, shaved, navy new suit, like nothing had happened. Nobody knew about Vanessa and Trevor except my mother. I wasn't ready to talk about it yet. At 9:03 a.m., my desk phone rang. Internal line, extension 4001. Scarlett Dixon, CEO. Max, can you come to my office, please? Of course. Give me 2 minutes. I grabbed my tablet, assuming she wanted to discuss the Boyd account. We'd been working on a $40 million restructuring deal. I'd spent the last 6 weeks on it. I knocked on her door. She opened it. Her face was tight, uncomfortable. Max, please sit. I sat. What's going on? I'm going to be direct. The board met over the weekend. We're restructuring the company, cutting costs. Unfortunately, your position has been eliminated. I stared at her. What? Effective immediately. I'm so sorry. You've been a valuable asset. But the decision came from above me. Scarlett, I've been here 7 years. I just brought in Boyd. I know, and I fought for you. But the board's decision is final. Security will escort you out. You'll receive 3 months severance. HR will be in touch about benefits. 3 months severance. For 7 years of 60-hour weeks. This is about the Carrington merger, isn't it? I said quietly. You're consolidating departments. She didn't answer. Didn't have to. I'm sorry, Max. 20 minutes later, I was standing on the sidewalk outside Cordova Finances with a cardboard box containing 7 years of my career. A security guard had literally walked me out. I'd lost my fiancée on Friday, lost my best friend on Friday, lost my job on Monday. My life was imploding in real time. I went to the apartment, Vanessa's apartment, to pack my things. She wasn't there. Good. It took 2 hours to pack up 4 years of my life. Clothes, books, a few kitchen items, my desk. Everything fit into 8 boxes and 2 suitcases. I looked around the apartment one last time. This place had been home. Or I'd thought it was. Now it just looked like someone else's space. I left my key on the counter and walked out. Took an Uber bag to the Marriott with half of my belongings and had to go back a second time for the other half. The hotel room suddenly felt suffocating. Temporary. Wrong. I needed a home. Not a hotel room. Not a temporary space. A place that was mine. I pulled out my laptop and started searching for apartments. Finding an apartment in New York City is hell even when your life isn't falling apart. I looked at 20 apartments in 2 weeks. Too expensive, too small, too far from subway, sketchy neighborhood. Landlord seemed insane. My budget was now $2,000 a month. I had 3 months of severance plus savings. But I needed to be smart. No job meant no income. I applied to finance jobs daily. Sent out 50 applications the first week. Got 3 responses, all rejections. Overqualified. Position filled. We're going in a different direction. By week 2, I was exhausted, demoralized, living out of a hotel room, eating takeout, barely sleeping. Then I found it. A brownstone in Park Slope, Brooklyn. 1 bedroom. Hardwood floors, exposed brick, big windows, tree-lined street, near Prospect Park, $1,900 a month. The landlady, Mrs. Huang, was a kind woman in her 70s. Showed me around herself. My husband and I bought this building 40 years ago, she said. Raised our daughter here. Now we rent out the units. Good tenants only, people who'll take care of the space. I'll take care of it, I said. I promise. You seem like a good man, Mr. Brooks. The apartment is yours. We filled out paperwork. I gave her last month security deposit. $5,700 total. Move-in date, November 1st. 2 weeks away. I left feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Finally, something was going right. A home. A place to rebuild. I went back to the hotel and started packing in my mind, planning where furniture would go, imagining mornings with coffee by those big windows. For the first time since Vanessa, I felt hope. The day before moving, my phone rang. Mrs. Huang. "Mr. Brooks, I have terrible news." My stomach dropped. "My daughter just called. She's going through a divorce. She needs a place to stay. She has 2 children. I have to give her the apartment. I'm so sorry. I'll refund your deposit." I sat down on the hotel bed. "Mrs. Huang, I understand. Family comes first." "You're very kind. I'll have the check mailed to you this week." "I don't have a return address right now, Mrs. Huang. I'll come by to pick it up." "Thank you." I hung up, sat in silence. Of course the apartment fell through. Why would anything go right? I had 24 hours to find a new place. The hotel was costing $180 a night. I wasn't smart to stay much longer. I pulled out my laptop and started searching again. There was only one apartment available for immediate move-in within my budget. Queens, Astoria, 4th floor walk-up, $1,750 a month. The photos looked fine, not great, but fine. The landlord, a man named Dmitri, met me outside. Thick accent, gruff but not unkind. "Building is old but solid. Neighbors are quiet. Heat works. No pets. You pay on 1st of month. Late, I charge fee." We climbed 4 flights of narrow stairs. My legs burned by the top. The apartment was small, maybe 500 square feet. Kitchen was tiny. Bathroom had old tiles. The bedroom barely fit a queen bed, but it was clean. Windows faced the street. Radiator clanged but worked. "I'll take it," I said. Dmitri nodded. "Good. 1st month, security, today." I paid him. $3,500. Got keys. "Welcome to building, Mr. Brooks." I moved my boxes in that afternoon. 8 boxes and 2 suitcases in the small truck I rented. Everything I owned. I stood in the middle of the empty apartment and felt nothing. Not excitement, not relief, just exhaustion. This wasn't the brownstone in Park Slope. This wasn't the fresh start I'd imagined. This was Plan B, the backup, the good enough. I unpacked slowly, put clothes in the closet, books on the floor since I didn't have shelves yet, set up my laptop on the kitchen counter since I didn't have a desk. At 8 p.m. I ordered Chinese food, ate it sitting on the floor. This was my life now, alone, in a cramped apartment in Queens, unemployed, single, 35 years old and starting over. I went to bed at 10 p.m. The mattress that was delivered the same afternoon was on the floor since I didn't have a bed frame yet. I stared at the ceiling and thought, how did I get here? The next morning I was carrying my last box up the stairs, books I'd left in the truck overnight, when I tripped on the floor landing. The box flew out of my hands. Books scattered everywhere. Hardcovers, paperbacks, tumbling down the stairs. Shit. I scrambled to grab them, but they were everywhere. A door opened. Apartment 4B, right next to mine. A woman stepped out. Early 30s, maybe. Dark curly hair pulled into a messy bun. Wearing scrubs, nurse scrubs, dark blue. No makeup. Tired eyes but kind face. "Oh my God, are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine, just clumsy." She crouched down immediately and started picking up books. "Let me help." "You don't have to. I'm already helping." She smiled, handed me 3 books. "Stephen King fan?" "Used to be. Haven't read in years." "Too busy?" "Something like that." We gathered the books in silence. She was efficient, quick, didn't make small talk, just helped. When everything was back in the box, she stood and dusted off her hands. "Welcome to the building. I'm Ruby, 4B. Max, 4A. Nice to meet you, Max." She glanced at the box. "Need help carrying that up?" "I've got it. But thank you." "Okay, well, welcome. If you need anything, I'm right next door. I work nights mostly, so if you hear me coming in at weird hours, that's why." "You're a nurse?" "Pediatric." "That's impressive." She shrugged. "It's exhausting." but I love it." She smiled again. "Anyway, I'll let you get settled. See you around, Max?" "See you around, Ruby." She disappeared back into her apartment. I stood there holding the box, staring at her closed door. That was the first kind interaction I'd had in weeks. 2 days later, there was a knock on my door at 6 p.m. I opened it. Ruby stood there holding a plate covered in aluminum foil. "Hi, I made cookies. Chocolate chip. Thought you might want some. New neighbor welcome gift." I stared at the plate. "You made cookies." "I stress bake. Had a rough shift. Now I have 4 dozen cookies and no one to eat them." She held out the plate. "Please take some before I eat them all myself." I took the plate. "Thank you. You didn't have to do this." "I know, but I wanted to." She smiled. "Enjoy, and if they're terrible, just lie to me next time you see me." "I'm sure they're great. Let me know." She turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and if you ever need anything, sugar, coffee, someone to help you move furniture, I'm next door." "I will." "Thanks, Ruby." She disappeared back into her apartment. I closed the door, lifted the foil. The cookies were still warm. Chocolate chips melted. Perfect golden edges. I ate one standing in my kitchen. It was the best cookie I'd ever had. Not because of the recipe, but because someone had thought of me. A stranger who owed me nothing had spent time making something just to be kind. I hadn't realized how lonely I'd been until that moment. I ate 3 more cookies, then wrapped the plate and set it aside. For the first time since moving into this apartment, it felt a little less empty. I'd been applying to jobs for 3 weeks. 57 applications, 4 phone screens, 2 in-person interviews, 0 offers. I was sitting in the building's small lobby, barely more than a vestibule with a bench and some dying plants, checking my email on my phone. Another rejection. "Thank you for your interest in the senior analyst position at Mercer Financial. Unfortunately, we've decided to move forward with other candidates." I deleted it without reading the rest. The building door opened. Ruby walked in, still in scrubs, carrying 2 coffee cups from the bodega on the corner. "Max, hey, you're up early." I glanced at my phone. 7:47 a.m. Can't sleep. She sat down next to me on the bench, handed me one of the coffees. "You look like you need this more than I do." "I can't take your coffee." "It's not mine. I bought 2. I saw you through the window looking miserable and thought, that man needs caffeine." I took the coffee. "Thanks." "Rough morning?" "Rough month." She was quiet for a moment. Then, "Job search not going well?" "How did you know I was looking for a job?" "You're always in the lobby or the coffee shop on your laptop. And you have that look. I'm refreshing my email every 5 minutes hoping for good news look. I've seen it before." "That obvious?" "Only to someone who's been there." She sipped her coffee. "I was unemployed for 4 months after I graduated nursing school. Couldn't find a hospital that was hiring new grads. I know how soul-crushing it is." "What did you do?" "Volunteered at a free clinic. Kept my skills sharp. Met people. One of those people recommended me for a position at Mount Sinai. Sometimes the path isn't direct." I nodded, not sure what to say. "What field are you in?" she asked. "Finance. I was a senior analyst at an investment firm. They restructured. Let me go." "How long ago?" "A month." "And you've been looking ever since?" "Every day. 57 applications. Nothing." Ruby was quiet. Then, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Do you want to go back to finance?" The question caught me off guard. "What do you mean?" "I mean, when you talk about it, you don't sound excited. You sound tired. Like you're applying because you think you should, not because you want to." I stared at my coffee. "I don't know what else I'd do. I've been in finance for 12 years. "That's not an answer." She was right, it wasn't. "I'm good at it," I said. "That's what matters, right? Being good at something? Not if it makes you miserable." I looked at her. "How do you know I'm miserable?" "I'm just guessing, Max." I didn't respond. Because she was right. Ruby stood up. "Look, I don't know you well, but I do know this. Sitting in this lobby every day refreshing your email isn't going to fix anything. You need to get out. Do something. Anything. Like what? I don't know. But something that reminds you you're still alive. She walked toward the stairs, paused at the first step. And for the record, you don't seem like a finance guy to me. What do I seem like? She smiled. I don't know yet, but I don't think you do either. She disappeared up the stairs. I sat there alone with my coffee, her words echoing in my head. You don't seem like a finance guy to me. What did that mean? And why did it feel like the most honest thing anyone had said to me in years? 2 weeks had passed, and I got another rejection email. This one from a firm I'd really wanted. We've decided to move forward with a candidate whose experience more closely aligns. I closed my laptop. It was 2 p.m. I'd been in my apartment for 9 hours. Hadn't showered. Barely eaten. The walls felt like they were closing in. I needed to get out. I threw on a jacket and walked. No destination. Just walked. Astoria in November was cold and gray. I passed the coffee shop where Ruby and I had run into each other twice, the bodega where she'd bought the coffee, the park where I'd sat on a bench for an hour last week watching kids play soccer. I ended up at the East River waterfront, sat on a bench facing Manhattan. The skyline stretched out in front of me, hundreds of buildings, millions of people, all of them with lives and jobs and purpose. And here I was, sitting on a bench wondering what the hell I was supposed to do with my life. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Max, hey, it's Ruby, from next door. Ruby, hi, how did you get my number? Dimitri gave it to me. Hope that's okay. There's a package for you at the front desk and I'm heading out. Wanted to let you know before I left. Oh, thanks. Where are you? You sound echoey. Waterfront, by the park. Pause. You okay? Yeah, just needed air. Max? I'm fine, Ruby. Really? Okay. Well, I'm working tonight, but if you want to grab coffee tomorrow morning, I'll be around. 7-ish? Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. Good. See you tomorrow. She hung up. I sat there for another hour, then walked home as the sun set. Ruby was waiting in the lobby the next morning. 2 coffees again. You keep buying me coffee. I'm going to owe you a fortune, I said. Consider it an investment in your mental health. She handed me a cup. Can we walk? I need movement. Sure. We walked toward the park. It was cold but sunny, rare for November. How many applications have you sent now? Ruby asked. 73. And how many interviews? 6. No offers. Max, I'm going to say something, and I need you to not get defensive. Okay. I think you're applying to the wrong jobs. I stopped walking. What? Hear me out. You've been applying to finance jobs for 6 weeks. You've had 6 interviews and 0 offers. That's not a coincidence. Either you're terrible at interviews, which I doubt, or you're not actually enthusiastic about these positions, and the interviewers can tell. I need a job, Ruby. I can't just wait around for the right thing. I'm not saying wait around. I'm saying do something else while the job doesn't appear. Like what? Volunteer. Help people. Get out of your apartment. Use your skills somewhere they matter. Volunteer. I need to pay rent. You have savings. You told me. You have time. Use it to do something that reminds you why you're here. I'm here because my life fell apart. No, I mean on Earth. I stared at her. You're very pushy for someone I've known 2 weeks. I'm a pediatric nurse. Pushy is part of the job description. She smiled. Look, there's a community center 2 blocks from here. Greenfield Community Center. They always need tutors for their after-school program. Kids, ages 10 to 17. Homework help. Mentoring. You're good with numbers, right? I'm a financial analyst. Of course I'm good with numbers. Then help kids with math. A few hours a week. It'll get you out of your apartment. You'll meet people, who knows? Maybe you'll like it. I'm not a teacher, Ruby. Neither am I. but I volunteer at a free clinic on Sundays. You don't need to be an expert to help, you just need to show up. I didn't respond. Part of me wanted to dismiss the idea entirely. But another part, the part that had been sitting in my apartment drowning in rejection emails, thought maybe she had a point. Think about it, Ruby said. What do you have to lose? My time? You're spending your time refreshing your email and feeling sorry for yourself. I think you can afford a few hours a week helping kids with algebra. She was right. I hated that she was right. But she was. Fine, I said. I'll check it out. Good, I'll text you the address. You're very pleased with yourself right now, aren't you? Extremely. She grinned. Come on, I'll buy you breakfast. You look like you haven't eaten in days. I ate yesterday. That doesn't count. The Greenfield Community Center was a squat brick building wedged between a laundromat and a bodega. Faded mural on the side. Cracked steps leading to the front door. Inside was better. Clean. Bright. Bulletin board covered in flyers. Kids' artwork on the walls. Smell of coffee and something baking. A woman in her 50s stood behind the front desk. Short gray hair. Warm smile. Can I help you? Hi, I'm Maxwell Brooks. I'm here about volunteering, tutoring? Her face lit up. Oh, wonderful. I'm Patricia Flowers. I run the center. Come with me. She led me down a hallway to a large room filled with tables. About 15 kids, various ages, working on homework. 2 adults circulating, helping. This is our after-school program, Patricia said. Monday through Thursday, 3:30 to 6:30. Kids come here after school. We provide snacks, homework help, mentoring. Most of these kids, she lowered her voice, don't have support at home. Parents working 2 jobs. No quiet place to study. We're it. What would I do? Whatever you're good at. Math, science, reading. We need help with all of it. I'm good with math and logic. Problem solving. Perfect. We have a lot of kids struggling with algebra and geometry. You'd be a lifesaver. She looked at me. Can you start Monday? Yeah, I can start Monday. Excellent. Show up at 3:30. We'll get you set up. I left the center feeling strange, not excited, not nervous, just uncertain. But I'd committed. And for the first time in weeks, I had somewhere to be that wasn't my apartment or a coffee shop. I arrived at Greenfield Monday at 3:25 p.m. Patricia met me at the door. Max, perfect timing. Come meet the kids. She introduced me to the group. 15 faces staring at me. Some curious, some indifferent, some openly suspicious. Everyone, this is Mr. Brooks. He's going to be helping with homework, specifically math. So if you need help, go ask him. One kid, maybe 14, wearing a Yankees cap, raised his hand. Can he actually do math? Or is he like Mr. Davis, who didn't know how to do fractions? A few kids laughed. I can do math, I said. Try me. The kids smirked. What's the quadratic formula? Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. The kid's smirk faded. Okay, he's legit. Patricia patted my shoulder. You'll do fine. Just circulate. Help whoever needs it. I walked through the room. Most kids were working quietly. A few were goofing off. Then I saw her. A girl, maybe 16, sitting alone at a corner table. Math textbook open, pencil in hand. But she wasn't writing, just staring at the page. I walked over. Need help? She looked up, guarded. Maybe. What are you working on? Geometry. Proofs. I don't get it. Can I sit? She shrugged. I sat down, looked at the problem. A proof about triangle congruence. Okay, so the thing about proofs is they're just logic puzzles. You're not solving for a number, you're explaining why something is true, step by step. Like building an argument. That doesn't help. Let me show you. I grabbed a blank sheet of paper, drew 2 triangles. See these? They look the same, right? But how do you prove they're the same? You can't just say they look alike. You have to use rules. Side angle side. Angle, side angle. Those are your tools. I walked her through it, slowly, step by step. At the end, she said, "Oh, that actually makes sense." "Yeah?" "Yeah, my teacher just throws formulas at us. She doesn't explain why it works." A lot of teachers do that, but math isn't about memorizing. It's about understanding. She looked at me. "Are you actually a teacher?" "No, I used to work in finance." "So why are you here?" "Good question." "Honestly, I don't know yet, but I'm here, so I might as well help." She nodded, went back to her work. I stood up, moved to the next table. A boy, maybe 12, was stuck on long division. I helped him. Then another kid, fractions, then another, word problems. By the time the session ended at 6:30, I'd helped 8 kids. And something strange happened. I didn't feel tired. I felt awake. More awake than I'd felt in months. Ruby and I had fallen into a routine. Coffee most mornings when she got off her night shift and I was starting my day. "So?" she asked. "How was your first week at Greenfield?" "Good, I think. The kids are tough, but smart. Smarter than they think they are." "You sound surprised." "I am. I didn't expect to like it." "But you do." "Yeah, I do." Ruby smiled. "Told you." "Don't gloat." "I'm not gloating, I'm just right." She sipped her coffee. "So what now? You going back?" "Yeah, Patricia asked if I could come 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday." "That's great, Max." "It's weird." I spent 12 years analyzing spreadsheets, making rich people richer. And I hated it. But I kept doing it because I thought I was supposed to. And now? Now I'm helping a 16-year-old girl understand geometry proofs, and it feels more important than anything I did at Cordova. Ruby studied me. "You're different, you know." "Different how?" "You're smiling more. You seem lighter. Less like you're carrying the world on your shoulders." "I'm unemployed and living off savings. I shouldn't be lighter." "Maybe that's exactly why you are. You're not performing anymore. You're just being." I thought about that. She was right. For the first time in years, I wasn't trying to impress anyone. Wasn't trying to climb a ladder. Wasn't pretending to care about things I didn't. I was just showing up, helping kids, and it felt real. "Thanks," I said. "For what?" "For pushing me. I wouldn't have gone to Greenfield if you hadn't." "You would have eventually. You just needed a nudge." We sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Ruby said, "So, Thanksgiving is next week." "Yeah." "You have plans?" "My mom invited me to Connecticut, but I don't think I can handle her asking me about Vanessa for 6 hours." "Vanessa?" I hadn't told her about Vanessa. I'd avoided talking about it. "My ex-fiancée, we broke up 2 months ago." "Oh, Max. I'm sorry. It's fine, it was the right thing." "Still, breakups suck." "Yeah." I paused. "What about you? Plans?" "I'm working. Someone has to cover the hospital. Plus my family's in Arizona. Can't afford a flight right now." So we're both alone on Thanksgiving." "Looks like it," an idea formed. "We should do something." "Like what?" "I don't know. Order Chinese food, watch bad movies, make it less depressing." Ruby smiled. "That actually sounds perfect." "Yeah?" "Yeah." And just like that, I had Thanksgiving plans. With a neighbor I'd known for 3 weeks. It felt strange. But it also felt right. I was at Greenfield on Wednesday afternoon, helping Miguel, the 14-year-old with the Yankees cap, work through a pre-algebra problem. So if x equals 7, and you plug that into the equation, what do you get? Miguel wrote it out. 42? Exactly. See? You got it. Man, why can't my teacher explain it like this? Maybe she has 30 kids and not enough time. It's hard. Miguel nodded. Then, yo, Mr. Brooks, can I ask you something? Sure. Why do you do this? Like, you're smart. You could be making money somewhere. Why you here helping us? I thought about it. Honestly, I needed something to do. I lost my job, lost my apartment, lost a lot of things, and a friend told me to stop feeling sorry for myself and do something useful. That's real. Yeah, but also, helping you guys makes me feel like I'm doing something that matters more than my old job ever did. Miguel studied me. You're not like the other volunteers. How so? You actually care. Like you don't just give us answers, you make sure we understand. That's different. Thanks, Miguel. No, thank you, Mr. B. Mr. B. That was new, but I liked it. Ruby knocked on my door at 5 p.m. on Thanksgiving. Ready for the saddest Thanksgiving ever? She said, grinning. I ordered Chinese food. Enough for 6 people. Hope you're hungry. Starving. I haven't eaten since yesterday. We spread the food out on my coffee table. The only table I had. Sweet and sour chicken, lo mein, fried rice, dumplings, spring rolls. This is way too much food, Ruby said. Leftovers for a week. We ate sitting on the floor, my laptop propped up on a chair, playing a terrible Thanksgiving movie we found on Netflix. This is the worst movie I've ever seen, Ruby said, laughing. It's perfect. Halfway through, she said, Can I ask you something? Sure. What happened with your fiancée? I set down my chopsticks. She cheated on me with my best friend. Ruby's face fell. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's okay. It was 2 months ago. I'm over it. Are you? I thought about it. Yeah, I think I am. I was angrier at first. But now, I just feel, relieved. Relieved? I think I knew we weren't right for each other. I just didn't want to admit it. She did me a favor. Ended it before I made a huge mistake. Marrying her would have been a mistake? Yeah, I think so. We looked good from the outside, but we didn't fit, you know? Ruby nodded. I do. What about you? Anyone special? Not right now. I was seeing someone last year. Another nurse. It didn't work out. Different life goals. He wanted kids right away. I wanted to focus on my career. And now? Now I'm just living, working, trying to figure out what I want. Sounds familiar. She smiled. We're both disasters. Functional disasters. I'll drink to that. We clinked our soda cans together. The movie ended. We started another one. At some point, Ruby fell asleep on the couch. I grabbed a blanket and draped it over her. She looked peaceful, hair falling across her face, breathing steady. I sat on the floor watching her sleep and realized something. I liked her, not just as a friend, as more than that. But I also knew I wasn't ready. Not yet. I'd just ended an engagement 2 months ago. I was unemployed, rebuilding my life. Ruby deserved better than someone who was still figuring himself out. So I let her sleep and decided to be her friend, for now. Because that's what she needed from me, and what I needed from her. I spent December at Greenfield 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. The kids started calling me Mr. B. Some of them waited for me specifically when they had math homework. Miguel, the 14-year-old with the Yankees cap, went from failing algebra to getting a B on his midterm. Yo, Mr. B, look! He shoved the test in my face. B-, my mom's gonna freak out. That's amazing, Miguel. You earned that. Nah, you helped me, for real. My teacher even asked what changed. You changed. You started believing you could do it. He grinned. You're corny, man, but thanks. There was also Destiny, the 16-year-old I'd helped with geometry proofs on my first day. She was brilliant, but had zero confidence. I'm not college material, she told me one afternoon. Why not? My grades aren't good enough. My family can't afford it. And I'm not smart like those kids who get scholarships. Destiny, you're working 2 grade levels ahead in math. You just don't realize it because no one's ever told you. Mr. B, you're just saying that. I'm not. Here. I pulled out my phone, showed her MIT's website. This is where I went to college, full scholarship. You know why I got in? Because you're smart? Because I could solve problems, just like you. Grades matter, but problem solving matters more, and you're one of the best problem solvers I've seen. She stared at the screen. You really think I could go somewhere like that? I think you can go anywhere you want. You just have to believe it first. By the end of December, I was working with 23 kids regularly. Patricia started asking me to help with other things too. Planning curriculum, organizing a math club, reaching out to local high schools about partnerships. Max, you're a natural at this, she said one afternoon. I'm just helping with homework. No, you're mentoring. There's a difference. These kids trust you. That's rare. I like them. They're good kids. They are, but they don't have many people telling them that. She paused. I need to ask you something. Okay. We have a paid position opening up. Youth Program Coordinator. It's full-time. Salary is $52,000 a year. Benefits. It's not much, I know, but you'd be incredible at it. I stared at her. Patricia, I don't have a teaching license or a degree in education. You don't need one. This isn't a teaching position. It's program development, mentorship, fundraising, community outreach. You'd expand what we're doing here. Bring in more resources. Help more kids. I don't know anything about nonprofits. But you know about problem solving. You know about building relationships. And you care. That's what matters. I didn't answer immediately. $52,000 was a third of what I'd made at Cordova. In New York City, that was barely enough to live on. Can I think about it? Of course. But Max, I wouldn't offer this if I didn't think you were the right person. I told Ruby about Patricia's offer the next morning. That's amazing, she said. It's $52,000 a year, Ruby. I can't live on that. Sure you can. You're already living on less. Savings don't last forever. So you expand the program, get grants, bring in funding, increase your salary over time. You're a finance guy, Max. You know how to make numbers work. That's not how nonprofits work. Oh, then make it work differently. You've been there 8 weeks and already Patricia sees your value. Imagine what you could do in a year. I sipped my coffee. This is insane. 2 months ago, I was making 6 figures. Now I'm considering a $52K nonprofit job. 2 months ago, you were also miserable. I wasn't miserable. Max, she looked at me. The question isn't whether $52K is enough. The question is, do you want to keep doing finance or do you want to do something that actually matters to you? It's not that simple. It actually is. I looked at her. She was wearing her scrubs again. Dark circles under her eyes from a 12-hour shift. Hair pulled back. No makeup. And she was still the most beautiful person I'd ever seen. What would you do? I asked. I'd take the job, but it's not my life. It's yours. Ruby. Yeah? There was a moment. A pause where neither of us spoke, where something hung in the air between us. But neither of us named it, not yet. I called Patricia. I'll take the job. Max, that's wonderful. But I have conditions. Okay. I want to expand the program, triple our capacity within a year, bring in corporate sponsors, apply for state and federal grants. I want to make this place sustainable, not just surviving, thriving. Patricia was quiet for a moment. Then, you're serious. Completely. I know how to manage money. I know how to pitch investors. Let me use those skills here. If we grow the program, we can pay our staff more, hire more people, help more kids. Max, if you can do that, you'll be a miracle worker. I'm not a miracle worker. I'm just a finance guy who knows how to make a business case. Nonprofits are businesses. They just have a different bottom line. When can you start? January 2nd. Perfect. I'll have contracts ready. I hung up and sat on my couch. I'd just accepted a job making a third of my old salary, in a field I knew nothing about, with kids who had every reason not to trust me. and for the first time in 12 years I felt excited about going to work. Ruby knocked on my door at 11 a.m. on Christmas morning. "Merry Christmas, neighbor." "Merry Christmas. You working today?" "Not until tonight. I have a few hours. Want to do something?" "Like what?" "I don't know. Walk? Coffee? Sit here and complain about how expensive New York is?" I laughed. "All of the above?" We walked to the waterfront, the same bench where I'd sat 2 months ago feeling hopeless. Now it felt different. The city looked different. Or maybe I looked at it differently. "So you start at Greenfield in a week," Ruby said. "Yeah," terrified. "You'll be great." I smiled and she smiled back. Something in my chest tightened. Not in a bad way, in a way that felt like hope. I wanted to tell her how I felt, that I thought about her constantly, that she made me want to be better, that every morning coffee felt like the best part of my day. But I didn't, because I wasn't ready, and I didn't want to ruin what we had. So I just said, "Thanks, Ruby." And we sat there, together, watching the river, and it was enough. I started at Greenfield on January the 2nd. Full-time. Office with a desk and a window overlooking the street. The first month, I focused on understanding the operation, budget, staff, programs, funding sources. It was a mess. Greenfield was running on a $180,000 annual budget, most of it from small donors and one city grant. They had 3 part-time staff members and 15 volunteers. They served about 40 kids. Patricia was doing everything herself. Director, fundraiser, HR, facilities manager. "How are you not having a breakdown?" I asked her. "I have one every Sunday. Then I come back Monday and keep going." I spent February writing grant applications. 7 applications to different foundations. State grants, federal grants, corporate giving programs. In March, 2 came through. $75,000 combined. "Max, how did you do this?" Patricia stared at the approval letters. I made a business case, showed them data, impact metrics, return on investment. Foundations want to know their money is doing something measurable. "You're a magician." "I'm a finance guy. It's just different numbers. We use the funding to hire 2 more staff members, expand hours, add a tutoring program for elementary kids, partner with 3 local schools. By April, we were serving 80 kids. By June, 120. I applied for the Emerson Foundation grant in March. It was a long shot. $250,000 for youth development programs in underserved communities. In April, I got the call. "Mr. Brooks, congratulations. The Emerson Foundation is awarding Greenfield Community Center $250,000 over 2 years. I almost dropped the phone. "Are you serious?" "Completely. Your application was outstanding. The board was particularly impressed with your sustainability model and impact metrics." I hung up and walked into Patricia's office. "We got Emerson." She looked up. "What?" "Emerson Foundation, $250,000, 2 years. Patricia stood up, stared at me, then burst into tears. "Patricia, Max, do you know what this means? We can expand, hire more staff, increase salaries, add programs. We can actually do everything we've been dreaming about." "I know," she hugged me. "You saved this place. We saved this place together." With the Emerson grant, we restructured the budget. I increased Patricia's salary from $45,000 to $70,000. She'd been underpaid for years. I increased my own salary from $52,000 to $70,000. Still not finance-level money, but enough to live comfortably in New York. We hired 3 more full-time staff members, expanded from 3 days a week to 5, added weekend programs. Greenfield was no longer just surviving. We were thriving. Ruby and I still had coffee most mornings. It had become our anchor. But something had shifted. Slowly, gradually, over 6 months. The way she looked at me had changed. The way I looked at her had changed. Conversations lasted longer. Silences felt comfortable. Touches lingered, hands brushing when passing coffee cups, shoulders touching on the bench. One morning in early June, I said, "Ruby." "Yeah?" I need to ask you something, and I don't know how to say it without making things weird. My heart started pounding. Okay. Will you go on a date with me? A real one. Not coffee in the lobby. An actual date. Okay. Okay? Yeah. Let's do it. She smiled. That smile that made everything feel possible. Friday night. I'll pick you up at 7. You'll pick me up. We live next door to each other. I'll knock on your door at 7, and we'll pretend we don't see each other every single day. She laughed. Deal. I knocked on Ruby's door at 7 p.m. sharp. She was wearing a dress. Dark green. Simple but elegant. Hair down for once. Lipstick. I'd never seen her dressed up before. Hi, she said. Hi. You look beautiful. Thanks. You look good too. I'd worn a button-down shirt and jeans. Nothing fancy, but I'd tried. Where are we going? She asked. It's a surprise. I took her to a small Italian restaurant in Astoria. The kind with checkered tablecloths and candles and wine bottles. Quiet. Intimate. We ordered pasta, shared a bottle of wine. So, Ruby said, smiling. First date. How do you think it's going? Pretty good. You haven't run away yet. The night is young. We laughed, talked about everything and nothing. She told me about growing up in Arizona, about becoming a nurse because her younger brother had been sick as a kid, about moving to New York alone at 23 with $800 and a dream. That's terrifying, I said. It was, but also exhilarating. I didn't know anyone, didn't have a safety net. I just jumped. I admire that. You did the same thing, started over. That takes courage. I didn't have a choice. I lost my old life. You had a choice. You could have found another finance job. You chose something different. That's courage. After dinner we walked, no destination, just walked through Astoria, past the shops and restaurants, past the park. We ended up at the waterfront, the same bench where we'd sat on Christmas. This is where you told me about Vanessa, Ruby said. Yeah. Do you ever think about her? Sometimes, but not in the way I used to. I don't miss her. I don't miss that life. I think I just miss the idea of having someone. Yeah. Yes, but now I have someone. Someone even better. Ruby looked at me. Do you? Yeah, if she wants me. She does. She kissed me, soft, tentative, like a question. I kissed her back. Like an answer. When we pulled apart, she was smiling. That was a good first kiss? Just good? Great. Amazing. Best kiss of my life. Now you're just inflating my ego. Maybe. She leaned her head on my shoulder. Max? Yeah? I'm really glad you dropped that box of books on the stairs. Me too. We sat there, together, watching the river, and everything felt right. A year had passed since Vanessa and Trevor, since Cordova Finances, since losing the perfect apartment and moving to Queens. A year since I thought my life was over. Now I was standing in the Greenfield Community Center at our annual fundraiser. 150 guests, local business owners, foundation representatives, city council members. Patricia gave a speech about our impact. We'd served over 200 kids in the past year. 15 of them had gotten into honors programs. 3 had received full scholarships to private high schools. Miguel was there, now 15, straight A student, talking about applying to engineering programs. Destiny was there too, 17 now, applying to MIT. I'd helped her with her application essay. Ruby stood next to me, holding my hand. She'd been my date to every Greenfield event for the past 4 months. The staff knew we were together, the kids knew. Patricia joked that we were the cutest couple in Queens. You did this, Ruby whispered. We did this. No, you did. You believed it could be more. And you made it happen. After the fundraiser, we walked home. It was cold. October again. Full circle. We stopped outside our building, 4th floor walk-up. The wrong apartment that had become exactly right. Want to come to my place? Ruby asked. Always. I got a text message in early December. Unknown number. Unknown. Max, it's Vanessa. I know this is out of the blue, but I wanted to reach out. Trevor and I broke up. I've been thinking about you a lot. About us. I made a huge mistake. I miss you. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I showed it to Ruby. What are you going to say? She asked. Nothing. Nothing. She doesn't deserve a response. That life is over. You're sure? Completely. I deleted the message, blocked the number. Ruby smiled. I'm proud of you. Why? Because a year ago you would have agonized over that, wondered if you should respond, questioned everything. Now you know exactly who you are and what you want. And what do I want? She kissed me. This. You want this. Yeah, I do. Sometimes the universe doesn't destroy your life. It just dismantles the wrong one, so you can build the right one. Have you ever had something terrible happen that turned out to be the best thing that could have happened? A job loss, a breakup, a plan that fell through? Share your story in the comments below. If this story about second chances, finding purpose, and how life's worst moments can lead to your best life touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring true stories every day. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss our next tale. Thanks for watching.